Pasta Vazul, baby.
Come on in.
Well, hello, Screamers! Welcome to the Scream Until You Like It podcast. Hope you're still screaming. Hope you're starting to like it. I am Clint of the Axe, which, of course, is a movie that I plan on talking about in a little bit. And with me, as always, is the legend of Mike Foot, a.k.a. Evil Mike, who's with me tonight. And we have a special guest joining us tonight, one Miss Amanda Megan. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, our pleasure. Our pleasure. Actually, we just saw you, 2 weeks ago now?
Not even. It was like
Not even
1 week ago. Yeah, one week.
Last
week. Yeah, last week at the Crickfoot premiere.
Yeah. Well, time flies when you have no idea what's happening.
Right.
Yeah, it was a double premiere. We saw One of One before that, which of course is a Mark Byrne picture, and we saw The Legend of Crickfoot. And we actually talked to Bone Johnson recently. We talked to Shannon Atkins, and we talked to Matt Burns. Jeez.
Yeah.
Right
Matt
on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, Matt's a good guy to know, from what I understand. So since we're on the subject of The Legend of Crickfoot, I feel like there might be a credit of yours in there.
There is. So I was actually a part of the Crickfoot family, I guess. I got to submit a little short as a part of it, which was really super cool because Bone, I didn't know who Bone was before this. So Matt had reached out, and then I'll get into how I met Matt too, because that's a super fun story. But so Matt had reached out, and he was like, "Hey, my friend's doing this like mockumentary. Do you want to be involved?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I want to be involved." There's like, "Okay, great. Here are like some options." And like they were the most ridiculous options. It was like, "Do you want to be a believer or maybe a not believer? Or do you want to be like somebody that's like in love with Crickfoot?" And I was like, yeah, totally. I want to do all of the things. So I actually got with my friend Ricky Bredenbeck. So like our little skit is the two of us. And it's the part that Bone refers to as like the mating call. And most of it was actually Ricky's idea. So it was actually Shannon that suggested it. She was like, "Hey, you should reach out to Ricky because he's pretty hairy. He'd make a great Crickfoot." And I was like, "Okay, yeah." So I did that, and Ricky came up with this whole like concept. He's like, "We need to get hot dogs, and we need to get this, and we need to do this." And it was just like, it was so much fun. Like, I really enjoyed this because it wasn't like the pressure of a normal like film. It wasn't like, "Oh, you have to do this, and you have to be that, and it has to be this, and it has to be that." It was literally just like, here's your guidelines, have fun, bring all of your creative energy. And we were able to do that. Yeah. And it was super cool because I was talking to Bone about it at the premiere, and he was like, "I didn't give anybody any like guidelines, but everybody for whatever reason decided that Crickfoot loved hot dogs." So like to have that collective conscious is such a cool thing.
Yeah. No, I remember the scene that you're talking about, that you're describing, and I don't want to ruin it, but Ricky is actually pretty good at taking a fall.
Yeah.
Ricky is a very good stuntman. Yes.
I've seen him do it more than once now. He took a hard hit in that zombie movie. He did Zero. And
he did.
Yeah. I was talking to him at the after party, and he was talking about that and how geez. Even Russell was like, he's like, "Yeah, when he did it," I was like, "Dude, are you okay?" And it looked like he took nearly as hard of a hit, in the sketch that he did with you.
We made it. We sold it.
Did he tell you to hit him that hard?
Yeah. So he was like, "No, don't worry about it. I got this. I know how to take the hit." Right. So when I did it, I hit him with a tree branch. The branch broke. It broke. And everybody that was there filming, they're like, "Oh my God, is he okay?" He got up. He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. This is nothing."
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that just added to the realism of it. That would make it a really great take.
Yeah, it did. It was so much fun.
Give him an extra hot dog. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
So when we left that day, like I had put the hot dog buns on the ground. He was like, "I might just eat one of these." I was like, "Buddy, I will get you a real hot dog. It's okay."
Yeah. So how long did it take you guys to put that together? Just like an afternoon, or did it take a little while?
It was actually pretty quickly. We had talked prior, like kind of like via Facebook or like voice message or whatever, and we had some ideas that we kind of talked about. And so the day we were filming, Shannon and I filmed something for Mark Byrne.
Okay.
And we were like, "Hey, Ricky, do you want to come up?" Because she was doing her part for Crickfoot. And I was like, "Just come up. We'll just get everything done all in one shot." So he came up. We had lunch, dinner, whatever it was at Montezuma, which is delicious, by the way. You should totally check that out next time you're in town.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there and he's like, "Can we just like stop at Renders? Because I have this idea." And then that's just, we had that like figured out in like maybe a 15-minute like interval. So
Yeah.
it was really on the fly, but it was so much fun. And I think that it was so much fun because it wasn't a whole lot of pressure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, Crickfoot was definitely surprising. It was really well put together, and that was a really fun premiere. The after party was cool. It was nice meeting so many people that were just part of the indie community of just that local area. I mean, it was just so many familiar faces. Like it seems every project that I look at, seems to have one of them. Yeah. So I mean, clearly this was not your first venture into the acting and filmmaking world. How long have you been doing it now?
So my first adventure was probably around 2018.
Okay.
So one of the gentlemen that I went to high school with, his name was Scotty McCoy. He was putting together, it was originally going to be a web series, and it was called Samhain. Samhain. It was based on like the Gaelic traditions of Halloween.
Uh-huh.
It was kind of like more like a Halloween, like what are they called? Fan films.
Yeah.
So originally it was going to be a series, but the people that were involved with it couldn't get along, couldn't make decisions. It was just not a fun time. So we tabled it for like a year or so. And then I couldn't let go of the idea. You know how like you just get that feeling and you're like, no, like we need to do this. Like there's something here. I don't know what it is, but there's something. So I had reached back out to him and I was like, "Hey, listen, we got to do this. I don't know why we got to do this, but like we got to do this."
Yeah.
So we rewrote it. We rewrote it into a feature film.
Okay.
We got the cast together. We did the filming. We did the locations. We did the whole nine. And everybody that was involved in this film was a first time anything, first time director, first time actor, first time filmmaker, first time anything. It was a zero budget film. So we learned all of the things. We made all of the mistakes, but we still did it. And we are also very, very proud of it. And then from there, we just kind of like branched out and started networking. And I think the most like surprising thing was how supportive everybody was that like saw it or was a part of it, or like they were just so like, "Oh, you're doing a thing, like we're going to support it, like here is some resources for you, this is how we did it, here's some other people that we talked to." Like it was so cool to go from just like new people on the scene to like everybody knows who you are now. And that was actually how I met Matt Burns. I auditioned for a role in Killed on Arrival that he was involved in. And originally I didn't get the part, which is fine. I don't know what happened. Like everything happens for a reason, right?
Right.
So the girl that originally got the part couldn't do it. And he reached back out to me and was like, "Hey, she can't do it. Like, do you want to come on board?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I do." Because I knew that he knew everybody and that he was like the source to have. So like I was making my way on that set one way or another.
I gotcha. Yeah. For
So
sure.
from there, just kind of like spiraled. I met so many people. I met Jesse Green. I met Russell Sage Patrick. I met everybody.
Yeah. No, it's a good network to be a part of.
Mhm.
Yeah. And going back, you talked about doing that thing with Scotty. I'm familiar with him. He has an interview show of his own.
He
Um,
does, yes.
yeah. And was that the Friday the 13th Dead Before Dusk thing?
No. So
No?
Friday the 13th Dead Before Dusk, I didn't act in that one. I
Okay.
directed it. It was the first thing I've ever directed. And
Gotcha.
it was a short. It was a Jason fan film. Samhain was an actual like feature film. It has a
Gotcha.
lot of
Okay.
like Michael Myers-esque tones to it. So like that was a feature film, and then we did the Jason like fan film.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I did see the Samhain credit here
Hmm.
on your IMDb, but it didn't really have a date on it, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it was a while ago. We started
Yeah.
filming that in 2018, and I think we did the actual like premiere in 2020 because I
Mhm.
remember when we were at the theater, they made us all wear masks. So,
Oh, okay.
yay, COVID.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, is that out there anywhere that somebody could see it, catch it?
Some of us have DVDs that we could
Okay.
let you borrow. I don't think it's available for streaming. I know that Scotty had kind of like stopped making the DVDs at a certain point because there wasn't a whole lot of interest after a while.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's all right. I was just curious if it was on a public platform for
Not to my
viewing.
knowledge, but I can let
Yeah.
you borrow my copy.
Yeah. It's an interesting idea because, people are either in like one or two camps. They're either in like the Friday the 13th camp or they're in the Halloween camp. You know what I mean? And I've always been more in the Halloween camp. So like, uh, uh, at least for like the first four movies, you know what I mean? They got a little weird after that. I mean, five's all right. Six, you know. And
Resurrection is awesome. That's
I'm
on
not even gonna
gold.
bring up Resurrection. That's like Mike's favorite ever. Busta
I'm
Rhymes.
actually in neither camp. I'm more of a Freddy girl.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. There is a third camp.
There is, yes.
Yeah. But I did check out the Friday the 13th fan film that you guys did. And it's cool that that's how you cut your teeth directing. Um
Yes.
and I have to say, like, some of the visual effects are actually pretty cool looking. So I
They
mean,
were. So the guy that did most of our special effects for that, his name is William Didion,
mhm.
and he goes to like all the conventions and stuff. I cannot remember for the life of him, but he has like a whole little like business that he does.
Uh-huh.
We were so excited to have him as part of that because we knew that he was good at what he did, and his son, um, Tyler, actually played one of the main characters in that. And Tyler, it was so cool because he wasn't really sure what he wanted to do with his life at that point. It was before he had decided on like if he was going to go to college or what he wanted to do. And by the time we had finished Salon and we had finished that, he had decided that he wanted to go to film school. So to be able to inspire somebody to that extent, like
Wow.
that was pretty cool.
That's pretty neat that he caught the bug working with you
Hmm.
guys. That's awesome. I wonder how he's doing now.
As far as I know, he's doing pretty well. He
Cool.
is on my Instagram. I'll have to touch base with him later, but I feel like he's doing pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what kind of budget you guys were working with on that, but clearly there were some good effects. And I actually saw a kill I don't think I've ever seen before. That tree
Oh,
kill was
really? What can I
the
ask
tree
which one?
the tree kill was pretty
The tree?
remarkable.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that was a creative one.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. So that was all right. It wasn't like a sleeping bag kill or anything like that. It was
No.
so a little cooler than that. So yeah. Nothing against the sleeping bag kill though. Um I did check out a couple other things that you did. I saw that short film that you did that you called Alone.
Yes.
Um
That was very
and
good.
that was very good.
I actually
Um
was hoping it would be longer.
yeah.
Well,
It
thank you.
yeah. It was shot super well. I mean,
Yeah. So
Mhm.
my friend Mike Taylor actually did that.
yeah.
So I met his girlfriend Noelle at Creature Feature at some sort of con before
Yeah.
that. Scotty had us at I think it was Creature Feature. We were doing some sort of convention, and it was outdoor at like a drive-in, and Noelle was there, and she was on my Facebook. And I was so excited to meet her in person. I finally met her in person. And then her partner, Michael, had reached out to me, and he's like, I have this idea for a short film. Well, he wanted to film something basically. And he was like, I don't have a script, but I have this general idea. And I really want to do it with you, but like, I just need you to trust me. And I was like, okay, great. Come on over. And then that's what we got out of it. It was really cool because I was able to kind of like we worked very, very well as a team. He directed it. He had like the general idea, but like I filled in the blanks, and I did a lot of the like assistant directing, essentially like, hey, let's try this angle. Let's try this lighting. Let's try this. Like, how do you feel about that? We worked very, very well as a team. And there have been people who have literally said to me, like, the only reason that I reached out to you is because I saw your short alone. And Michael is very, very talented. I'm hoping he puts out more in the near future. He started working on it. It's called The Naughty List. It was a Christmas slasher, so I'm hoping that he's able to get that done and out there. Again, he's very talented. Noelle is very talented. They have a lot of great ideas. And just to be able to like make all of this come to fruition, like that was zero budget. He had no script. It was literally like he walked in my apartment and was like, I'm going to set up these lights and we're going to make a movie. I don't know what we're doing, but we're going to do it. And then we did.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. No, I got very strong like Paranormal Activity vibes with that movie.
Yeah. That's kind of what we were going for.
Yeah. Yeah. Just getting sucked through a doorway really fast and a door slamming, you know what I mean? All that cool stuff.
That was cool.
Yeah.
The way.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah. I did my own stunts.
Good for you.
Yeah. Not many people get to say that, so I'm going to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, some of them looked a little rough, like hitting the floor pretty hard. I mean,
yeah, I had a few bruises the next day.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it looked like a lot of fun, and like I said, it was shot really well. The edit was fantastic. I mean, it just
Michael did all the editing. He's, like I said, he's very talented.
Yeah. It really flowed. That's a cool thing to be a part of. That and I could see how that would be a useful thing for people to see to get you in the door doing other projects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make that a part of your reel. You know.
Yes.
I watched another one. I always find it cool when somebody does a project and it ends up on like a streaming platform that I have, you know, and I can see it. So like I did check out Night of the Axe. You know, the weird thing is I think I remember when that was still being made and or like right after when it had just made it to Tubi, and like I was seeing like what's the director's name? Sean
Wright,
yeah, he was blasting Facebook with it all over the place, and I had always intended to watch it, and I just recently got around to it. So thank you for that. You're the reason I finally watched the movie. I saw some familiar faces in that too, specifically Angel Bradford. I think I saw in there.
Yeah, so that's actually the first time I met Angel.
Uh-huh.
She was so fun to work with. It was like an instant, like we clicked so quickly. Her character and my character basically were best friends in that film. Mm-hmm. I absolutely loved working with Sean. He made me feel so comfortable because that was one of the first films that I did where it was kind of like outside of my group of people. These were all new people to me. This was a new area. This was a new, some of the subject matter was new for me. I feel like a lot of it was like brand new to me. And you probably can't tell, but I'm a little bit of an introvert at first when I first meet people. So like they really brought me out of my shell.
That's cool. Yeah.
It was so much fun, and I felt so safe and so welcome, and like even the rest of the cast was fantastic. The guy that played my boyfriend in the film, his name is Sean Mongold. We had a couple of like intimate scenes where we were like making out or whatever, and he made sure I was comfortable, like there was nothing awkward. Like if there was any kind of like nudity scene, they made sure that everybody was covered and everybody was comfortable and warm. And I had a death scene in that film as well. And Nate Nelson, he was a part of some of those scenes too. And he was very like cautious, very like helpful in any way that they could be, like, it says a lot because I know that there's been a push recently for more, what are they called? Like intimacy coordinators, more like safe sets for women, more communication. So like to see all of that before the push, it's such a it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to know that I was in good hands.
Yeah. Well, it must have done a lot for your trust level. You know what I mean?
It did a lot.
And feeling like you were working with professionals. So I mean, that's great. That's great. So it sounds to me like you'd probably work with them again.
Yeah. So I actually do have another role in Sean's next film. It's called Spirit Board. It's called Spirit Board. I'm very, very excited for it.
That's cool.
We had to push it back a little bit because of funding. So I get it, but I'm disappointed because I was so excited.
Yeah.
I love working with Sean. I love working with his cast and crew. Again, I felt very safe, very welcome. And like for my specific role, I know that I'm going to have to really show a lot of range, which is going to be challenging for me as an actress.
Right.
I've been behind the camera a lot recently, so I'm very excited to get back in front of it. But then to have this kind of role that's going to be challenging, that's going to put me on different levels, and where I have to actually, I'm going to have to really depend on the production team a lot for this. So I'm excited. I can't say a whole lot about it, but it's worth the wait.
Of course not. Yeah. No, that's all very hush hush. If you're in the early like pre-production stages of something, I mean, you got to be real careful about what you say, and I won't pry because I wouldn't want to spoil it either. Because you know, who wants that? Who wants to walk into something knowing everything about it?
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Night of the Axe actually turned out pretty well. I don't know if that was his first attempt at a feature or what, but it turned out pretty well, and I imagine that he learned a lot from the experience. So like doing another project after that is, you know, you apply all those lessons. I'm sure it's going to be even better than that one. So I actually kind of liked it. The killer was almost exactly what you wanted. You know what I mean? You don't want to know too much about him. You know what I mean?
Right.
They just come in and have zero explanation for why they want to, you know.
Just like, hey, surprise. Mike, did you watch it yet?
Everyone.
I watched it the night you told me about it.
Yeah.
And I can
what did you think?
I liked it. And for me to say, look, Clint will tell you, I'm not the biggest indie guy. And that was a decent movie. It was good. I enjoyed it. You could tell everybody worked great on that. Everybody did a good job. For me to say that about an indie movie, you know, I like it. He played the killer too, didn't he?
People like 24/7 or anything.
Yeah. Did I read that Sean played the killer?
Sean did not play the killer.
I thought I read that. I could be wrong. I don't read that well.
Nope, not to my knowledge. I know who played the killer. It was not Sean.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I was actually kind of surprised by the number of nude scenes that were in that, and I was like, that. Kudos to you both. I mean, that takes a lot of guts. I mean, like somebody who's an introvert, that must have been really difficult.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was definitely interesting, and like the thing that I hear the most is like when you're creating those scenes, it is the most difficult thing to do because like when you're watching it, you're like, oh yeah, that's great. When you're making it, it's not that great.
Yeah, it must feel extremely artificial. You know what I mean? Like this is so awkward and confusing. Like, is this coming across the way it's supposed to?
Awkward. So awkward. Like I can remember a scene. We were doing my scene and I was on top of the partner, right?
Right.
And they wanted to get a shot from like my point of view. So like the cameraman is now in my position. And you're just like, this is how we do this? Like it looks hot when it's all said and done, but to make it, it's not even close. Not even close. I don't know what people think, but it is not what they think.
Oh yeah. No,
but again, like they made me all feel so comfortable and so welcome, and like I didn't have to worry about anything. Anytime Sean would move or do whatever, he'd be like, "Are you okay with this? Is it okay if I touch here? Can I move here? Can I like what are you okay with?"
Right.
And like you said, it's important that they made you feel safe and comfortable because when they don't, like there have been movies when they don't do that, you can actually see that in the finished product.
It's the same because I model too. And so like one of the things when I do a model session, the first thing I'll do is I'll go to that photographer's page and I will go through and I will see their previous work. And you can tell if a model is not comfortable.
Without a doubt.
It comes across in their face. It comes across in their body movements. It comes across in all the ways. So like you can tell if somebody is not comfortable, you can tell.
Yeah.
You can't sell that when you're modeling. You definitely cannot sell that when you're acting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a unique experience. And kudos to you guys for pulling it off. It was pretty convincing.
You got no complaints from me.
Yeah. So I was wondering if you could tell me a couple things about a couple of your other projects. Like 72. What can you say about that?
So 72 is in the editing bay. It has been in the editing bay for a while.
Okay.
The director, Carl Miller, it was his first directorial debut, and he's also doing the editing on that. He worked on Samhain with Scotty and I, and they kind of came up with this idea to make this movie. He came down to my place at one point, and we just spent the whole weekend writing out the different scenes. Like he had a general idea, but he needed help filling them out, bringing them to life the way they needed to be brought to life. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about it.
Oh, that's all right. I'm not going to press you on it. I just
It was originally called Killer Party. It was originally called Killer Party. So we did a lot of work on it. It's still in the editing bay. We're all very excited about it. I know that Carl did struggle a little bit with some of the different scenes when it comes to the editing. So a lot for all of us to learn, but I feel like it's going to be another project that takes a little bit longer than we would like it to, but it's going to be worth the wait.
Yeah, but you're confident in the end there's going to be a cool finished project that you guys can put out?
I'm very confident, yes.
Okay, excellent. Was that a good experience?
It was, yeah. I had a smaller role in this because I started to do more behind the scenes stuff for it. I wanted to make sure that Carl felt very supported and that he had all the resources that he needed. So I kind of took a step back a little bit so that I could do that for him. I was still kind of in front of the camera, but not as much as like in Samhain. And I'm really glad that I made that decision actually, because from there I've progressed so much to the point where I directed Anarchy. And I've learned that if I'm going to direct something or I'm going to be behind the camera, I do not want to be in front of it. I will not do both. When Shannon asked me to come on for Sibylla 6, which I'm sure we'll talk about, I literally said to her, I was like, I will not do both. Take your pick. I'm not doing that to myself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Double duty sounds like a nightmare.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. But you have enough experience to know that it's too much.
Exactly.
I noticed you've got Heavy Duty Man on here too. That's one I've known about its existence for a while now, and I briefly got to talk to Thomas Toohey about it. I think he was director on that.
Yeah, so Tom directed that. It's actually a cinephoto film. So Matt Anderson and some of his other partners had written the original script. We put together a proof of concept, which is actually how I met Matt and Tom and some of the other people, because they were like, hey, we need people to come do this proof of concept trailer. And it was one of the very rare occasions that I was free last minute. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll come down, no problem. So I came down, we did a scene, and my line for that scene was wild. It was wild. Like, I don't know how I pulled that line off, but so we pulled that off for the proof of concept trailer. And then independent films, life happens, things happen, people get different projects, they get involved in different things. So we ended up putting it on the back burner for at least a year, give or take. Yeah. And then Tom took over as director, and I absolutely love Tom. We're very good friends. I love him, his wife, they're great people. And he was basically like, I really just want you involved with this to kind of help keep me sane. I was like, yeah, I got you. I'll be there. But it was really cool because at that time we were bringing on a lot of newer people too. Like my friend April, she was looking to get into special effects and they needed some extras. And I was like, hey, do you want to come hang out with me for this day? And it's so funny because when you bring a new person on, like they have so many different experiences. Like I brought April on. I didn't give her any directions. I was like, listen, you're either going to figure it out, you're going to sink or you're going to swim. Whatever happens, happens. And like other people will bring their friends, their partners, whatever. And they'll be like, no, don't talk to people. Don't do this. Like, this is how you need to handle yourself. I didn't do that to April, but April did fantastic. And she was actually brought back on for Anna Key to do very minimal like special effects because it wasn't a horror movie. It's actually more of like a chick flick. But we were able to use her makeup skills for that too. So it was really cool to be like, hey, this is this new person. Let's see where she goes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. They title your character as Gym Rat in Heavy Duty Man. And I find that.
So I was more of an extra kind of role.
All right.
Which is really funny because when we did that scene, I go to the gym religiously now. I'm there 2-3 times a week. I see a personal trainer. We do meal prep. We do all the things. When we were filming that, I didn't know what a gym was. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do any of those things. I drank way too much. I ate way too much. Like none of the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I actually am a gym rat. So
nice. So it's almost like it inspired you to change your life.
Almost.
We'll say that anyway.
We'll tell people that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you dropped Anna Key just a minute ago, so I wanted to bring that up. You guys are getting ready to do a premiere, aren't you?
April 5th, our world premiere. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. That's in like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
Mm-hmm. And you said you're a director on that.
I was, yes. So I directed that. So Matt Anderson, who brought me on for the proof of concept trailer for Heavy Duty Man, he had put out kind of like a post on Facebook, and I 1000% believe that he was fishing. I 1000% believe that he was looking for me. Whether that's true or not is irrelevant. He was looking for me. But it was basically like, hey, who out there is looking to be a director? And I like to learn everything. I'm a big picture brain, so I want to know how everything works. I want to know how it all works together. And I was like, hey, that's one of my like goals. Like, I'd love to do that. And so we were talking about it. He made me jump through hoops. I did a whole pitch deck. I did a whole pitch interview, all the things.
Wow.
But it worked out. And like, I'm not upset about it because I really did learn a lot from the experience. And at one point, he really did tell me that he was fishing and he did hope that I would comment on it. But he wasn't sure if it was something that I would do because at that point, I was only known for horror films.
Right.
And I was like, no, I don't want to be like just typecast for horror. Like, I want to do everything. I feel like if you do horror, great. Okay, good for you. But to be a really well-rounded, talented person, you can do horror, you could do comedy, you could do chick flick, you could do action, you could do all the things. Obviously, that takes a lot more experience, but I don't want to be just horror, just blood and guts.
Yeah, yeah.
So we started talking about it. He sent me this original script. And we did a lot of back and forth on the original script. I did a lot of editing on it. Originally, the script was way too long. There were a lot of like subplots that we got rid of. Like I know for a fact that I made a very good positive influence on the changes. And then we started filming it, and it took way longer than we would hope, took way more money than we hoped, but we're here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, like a genre like that, seems like way more difficult to tackle than say like a run of the mill like slasher or like a horror movie, because it's like you're trying to get a specific tone out of it. You know what I mean? You want to actually feel what you're seeing there, and it's like when you watch it, like you want to be drawn into the story. You want to like experience what the characters are experiencing. That must be incredibly difficult to do.
It was very difficult. Like, I feel like not like anybody could do a slasher, but like anybody could do a slasher,
Right.
And then to be able to like really bring people into you and your feelings and your emotions in this entirely different, like Like, you're essentially living that character's life when you're watching this movie.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really love about it is the story is something that people of any walk of life, any genre, anybody can relate to something that is happening in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very generally speaking. Anna is a chaotic person who is learning to love herself through the relationships that she's having. She's been through some shit, and now she's trying to figure out who she really wants to be.
Right. Right.
And I don't know about you guys, but everybody I know has been at that point at some point.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I did catch the trailer for that, or I guess it was like a 2-minute trailer on it, and
Yeah,
and it
about that.
really, yeah, it really seemed like she was someone in a transitional period of her life. Like things were very chaotic, and she was just jumping around from person to person, relationship wise, and then just meets somebody that changes things for her.
Yeah, she goes from being very chaotic to meeting a very zen person, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
which is so the character of Danny was actually written for Jesse L. Green. I'm sure you guys have at least heard of him, if not met him.
Yeah. I think we saw him.
I'm pretty sure you saw him, yeah.
Yeah.
And he talks about how he feels like this is the like pinnacle of his career, how the girl that played Anna, Abby, like really brought out the best in him. Like they did Zoom calls so often and they would practice all the time, and like they really fed off of each other. And it was I personally loved seeing that for them, because like
Yeah.
I love Jesse, I love Abby, and just seeing it all together is like I feel so accomplished because like I helped bring that out of them.
Yeah.
They did it.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to share it with everybody. Like it's 4 or 5 weeks from now and I'm already like crying. I was like, I'm going to need waterproof mascara.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a great experience. And I'm glad that they took it so seriously and really like immersed themselves in it. I mean,
The whole cast did. The whole cast
Yeah.
was fantastic.
Yeah, it sounds great. And I hope it comes off exactly the way you want it to.
It's going to.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I admire your optimism. That's great. You know, yeah, I don't know. Mike said something about trying to make his way down there and possibly be there for the premiere. So yeah,
You should.
we'll see.
We're going to have the premiere at Waynesboro where we had the Crickfoot premiere. And then we're also going to do an after party at Trigger's Tap Room where you guys were for that after party too.
Yeah.
So
we will be there.
The tap room has kind of been taken over by Sarah and Bobby Trigger, who have also been kind of part of the indie film. So we really love the fact that we're able to keep it indie to indie. So
yeah.
And we just love supporting small business anyway.
Yeah. And it's right next to Montezuma's. So
yeah,
Exactly.
maybe we'll try and get some Montezumas in.
Do it.
Yeah. But I won't order the revenge. Nobody needs that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, I'd love to make an attempt to get there to see that. It's super close for me. I'm way closer than Mike is. I'm probably
We'll be
about
there.
an hour away.
I'll grab
Mike's all the way over there,
in the
Brooklyn.
same place.
So,
I'll grab a room. I'll go by.
yeah.
Grab Clint. Throw him in the car, and then we'll come.
Throw him in the car.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not as little as I used to be, but I'm sure he can still throw me. Yeah. And I do want to bring up the Sibylla 6, the project that you're working on with Shannon and a bunch of other wonderful people. Let's see. Shonda Rawlings is in that. We met Brandy Lynn Dalton at the premiere. And talked to her for a little bit. Like almost everybody on that poster. So can I refer to you as Casey Thompson? Is that the name of your character?
Yep, that's me.
Okay.
I play Casey. It is a very short role. Again, I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff to help Shannon out. I'm actually Shannon's assistant director for this.
Okay.
So Shannon, this is her directorial debut. And I don't know how much, I know that she has done a podcast with you guys, so I don't know how much she has talked about. But Shannon has said that like I have inspired her, which means so much to me because a lot of what I do is because I want to support other people and I want to inspire them to reach for their dreams. So like that means so much to me by itself. But to be able to actually kind of like teach her and guide her and coach her has been an adventure in a very good way.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for all of it. So she's learned a lot. She's come a long way. And then, like I said, it's a very small role in front of the camera because I won't do both.
Right.
I know me, I get stressed out. I can't handle both. I will do one or the other. If it's a small enough role, okay, cool. I can work with that. So we kind of we've been going back and forth about a lot of different things. And it's just Todd Martin wrote the script. It's been fantastic. Matt Burns is involved. Shonda Rawlings is involved. Brandy is involved. Russell, Jesse. There's so many people, so many talented people that have really brought this script to life. Yeah. And it's another script where everybody can relate to it.
Right.
It's essentially about the dangers of dating.
Right.
Anybody that's ever been on a date is going to know how this feels.
Yeah. She really indicated that it had a very serious tone.
It does. It really does.
And it is a cautionary tale almost. Yeah. I kind of thought of it almost like a PSA. It's like this is the type of movie that could really genuinely warn somebody about the dangers that are out there.
People have been comparing it to Strangeland in a way.
Okay.
She mentioned that. And that's a crazy ass movie. So if you're modernizing Strangeland, I mean,
I love Strangeland. I love Dee Snider. It's a very, very good movie.
Yeah.
So
no
pressure.
yeah. You're really tackling something disturbing.
Exactly.
Yeah. That sounds awesome. She seems to really be taking to the director role very much, and she kind of indicated that she likes it a little bit better behind the camera than in front of it. So you must have really inspired her.
Good. Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Yeah. I did notice on the poster that that there's dates next to each person.
Yeah.
They're all the same days, separated by a year.
It's the same day, separated by a year. I can't really say too much about it, but
no,
I'm glad that you've noticed.
I'm sure that's significant.
It is,
and that will come out when we see the movie and become apparent as to the significance of that date. But I've been sitting here mulling it over. I'm like, November 11th. What's so every year? So that's awesome. So I know she's still in the middle of filming and scheduling and trying to get scenes shot, and this is going to go on for a while.
We're hoping to have it filmed by the end of the year and hopefully an early spring release for next year.
Yeah, she kind of stayed in touch with us a little bit and was I don't know, somehow our group chat has turned into like hey, what are we cooking today?
Yeah.
and she was going over all the details about what she was catering for the next scene that they were going to do.
She brought so much food today. We filmed today and there were like 3 crock pots of food.
Yeah, she put it in there and she's like, oops, wrong chat. And Mike's like, I'm on my way.
I'm coming.
And Mike's like, no, that was the right chat.
Exactly.
You can't take it back now.
We had plenty. I'm sure there's.
I should start making gifts like that.
All right, what else you guys got?
All right. Well, actually, I was gonna find out if there was any projects that we had missed that you would like to bring up that you're excited about or upcoming. I know you did something called you were an extra in a movie called Miscalculated.
Yes.
I don't know if I found the right movie.
Miscalculated is actually an action crime drama that Ramel Xavier, I don't remember his last name, did.
Okay.
But he was fantastic to work with. Again, I really branched out of my comfort zone for this. I drove down after work and just kind of did the extra thing for the day. And that was actually before I had met Jesse and Russell and Karen and everybody. And they were also welcoming. The girl that played the main agent, she walked up to me and we were having full-blown conversations all day while they were doing their action sequences. And yeah, it was a really good time. Karen played. She was involved in one of the crime people things, but Karen actually ended up doing some of the music for Anarchy, and she was one of our camera people for that too. So it's so fun to see how like all of this like comes together.
Yeah, yeah. No, it seems like a small world. It's like
Mhm.
you make a
And that
lot of
was one of the first.
connections.
I've never used like a prop gun before. I never used like a prop like vest before. So like when they were getting me ready, I had to be like, how do I clip this? Like what? And like everybody was just like, here, let me do this. Let me show you. They were also like, they were fantastic.
Yeah,
They were so fun. I hope I get to work with them again.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I wasn't sure I had the right movie when I was when I
Yeah.
was going through it. It's like
It's
I know
hard to
this
see
one.
me if you don't know who I am and you don't like pay really close attention, you will not see me.
Right.
But it is on Tubi, so I want everybody to go watch that too because
Yeah.
like I said, they were all fantastic people to work with.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
I
Yeah,
found out who you played, and then I went back and looked for you.
there you go.
You had to go back and look too.
Yeah.
It
So
was funny because in one of our group chats, there was a bunch of us that were in it, and Matt Anderson was like, "Oh, I see Jesse. Oh, I see Russell. Oh, I see this person." And I was like, "Did you see me?" And he's like, "What?" I made him go back and watch it like twice. I wouldn't tell him where I was.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Play a game with him. It's like,
I
I'm
sure
gonna
did. I had a good
make you
time.
work for it now.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Um, yeah, I did see a couple other things on here. I was kind of interested what the butterfly of black velvet might be.
hmm So the butterfly of Black Velvet it was very Giallo-esque.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, it was so fun. The guy that did that, his name is Wade Brown,
Okay.
and his production company is called Mint Condition Productions.
Mhm.
Which was they were cool. They came to my apartment. I was actually living in New York at the time, and we filmed at my apartment in New York.
Oh,
Um, I don't want to give too much away because I want y'all to go watch it, but
yeah, for
it
sure.
was fun. It was fun. I got to work with a lot of different people. Wade himself, Gary, I think Rebecca, a couple other people. So
Mhm. Yeah.
Wade is actually involved with Spirit Board, and he was part of Night of the Axe too.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
What about the Blue Hole?
The Blue Hole, yes, that is a Dave Sharkey Castiglione film. He's worked with Phil Hartman a couple of times. Joel Wynkoop was involved in that one. It's loosely based on the Jersey Devil kind of.
I said I read the description. That sounds like a blue hole found in the Jersey Pine Barrens.
Yes.
Which
So we actually did film in the Pine
to get
Barrens.
Clint to go camping in the Pine Barrens.
I would totally go again. We did a really cool day where we did some filming and then we did some tubing down one of the, I don't know what it was called, but we did some tubing.
That sounds awesome. I
It
mean,
was a really good time and Dave was great to work with. Michelle Gibbs was part of it. I worked with her before that on, it was called Open House. It was part of Phil Herman's Horror Tales. Matt Cannon, I believe he wrote and directed that. He does a lot of scoring now too. So me, Michelle, and Noelle actually were some of the main characters for that film, and Dave was actually acting in it, and that's how I met him. And so when he was doing the Blue Hole, he was like, "I really want you and Michelle involved. Can you guys do this? Here's what I'm looking at. Here's the idea. How well can you swim?"
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you mentioned Horror Tales. You're credited as a real estate agent in that. You
Yes,
said it in the
I
open
play a
house
real
segment.
estate agent.
Okay, cool. And that was a fun experience to be on.
It was an interesting experience. So Horror Tales is a couple of different shorts, and
Mhm.
the most interesting part about it for me was the special effects part of it. Whenever you do a film, they always ask you if you have any allergies.
Oh, right.
And when we did the special effects for this film, the guy that did the special effects was using a form of like a vegan KY jelly essentially for like a melting skin effect. And so,
Okay.
long story short, I have an allergic reaction to vegan KY jelly.
Oh, great.
So when I tell people this, you can imagine the reactions I get at first. And then I always have to be like, no, let me hear me out first. But it was a super interesting experience because it was the first time I had dealt with that sort of a special effect
Sure.
ingredient. And Noelle was on set that day, and her boyfriend Mike, who did Alone, he was on set that day. And when we were doing that part of the scene, she had turned me around at one point, and Mike just starts freaking out. He's like, no, we need to stop, cut, stop, go wash Amanda's face. Something is wrong. I didn't even feel it. I didn't feel the allergic reaction until Mike had said it. And then everything was itchy and it was on fire and it was burning.
Oh, wow.
And everybody just stopped. They're like, no, go wash her face, get it clean, make sure she's taken care of. They took such good care of me. Everybody was so worried, so concerned. They didn't leave me alone all night long. They made sure I was good.
Okay.
So not that I want anybody to have an allergic reaction to anything, but knowing that I was so well taken care of is also a very good feeling.
Yeah. So, I mean, what did it do? Does give you a rash and get you hot and puffy?
It turned my face bright red, and it was so itchy, and it was so burny, it was some kind of a rash.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that wasn't something that I had dealt with before. It was new for me.
Yeah. So that sounds awful.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
No.
But they took good care of me.
Did your face
good.
get puffy and blow up, or just got the red?
It mostly just it was a little swollen.
I don't think he's gonna stop.
But it wasn't super puffy. It was mostly just red and uncomfortable.
Wow.
I'll tell you why I asked, because I worked for a company one time with this middle-aged woman, Fatima. She was a Spanish lady.
Okay.
Somebody brought in a Halloween mask, and she put it on joking around. And all of a sudden I see people going into her office. They're like, oh, Fatima got an allergic reaction must have been to the mask. But I'm thinking red, maybe hives or something. I walked to her office, and her head was this fucking big. It was like a cartoon. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh no!
I was like, oh, I never saw anything like it in my life. They called an ambulance and everything, but I swear it looked like it was a cartoon spoof or something.
Yeah.
But that's how big her fucking head was.
Wow.
Her eyes were shut because her eyes were all swollen.
Oh man.
I was like, oh my God. I was like,
yeah, that's scary. Thankfully, I didn't have that. Mike was very quick with it. As soon as he saw my face get red, he was like, no, cut. He was just there for moral support for Noelle, but he was like, nope, you're done. Cut.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy. Whew. Yeah, that's a terrible way to find out that you have an allergy for something. Did you ever figure out what ingredient it was in there that did it?
No, and you know what? I'm not willing to find out in any other aspect. That was enough for me.
Yeah, really.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and what is this Frosty's Revenge thing?
I was just going to ask about that.
I'm glad that you actually mentioned that. So my friend Justin Adams, he writes shorter scripts. Frosty's Revenge was one of his. It was a Christmas slasher kind of thing. And that was actually the first time that I worked with him. I'm not exactly sure how I met him. I think it might have been through Facebook. I meet a lot of people through Facebook or through other mutual friends. Shannon is always like, oh, hey, you need to know this person. Or Matt Anderson or Matt Burns is always like, oh, hey, you should hang out with this person. They'd be a good connection, So I actually just worked with Justin on another one of his films. It's called You're Mine Now. We just finished that. He's working on the editing, and he actually started writing another film. He does again, it's shorter versions. They're not feature length. I think he's trying to get Your Mine Now to be more of a feature. But I'm really excited that he did them because he was actually considering giving up filmmaking before he did this one. And when he started doing Your Mine Now, there were so many people that came to support him, that came to set, that were like, hey, here's this idea, here's this. And even Sean Thompson, he came up from Florida to film with Justin, which I know meant so much to both of them. So,
Yeah.
and now he's making another one.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, I love it when people persevere and and they get over the hump and they said, you know what,
Mhm.
this is really worth it. I hate to see somebody give up, especially when they have so much promise. You know what I mean, to put out something cool and fun. And I don't know. Overall, it seems like a really fulfilling experience. To to just go through all the steps and do something creative, get a whole bunch of people together who really seem passionate and care about putting something out there for the world to see. Yeah, not everybody does it, and
No, it's not easy to do. There's so many different things that go into it, so many different personalities. I also do wedding and event planning, and I joke around with a friend of mine and I'll be like, I don't know what the difference is between like making a movie or planning a wedding because you have so many different moving parts, so many different personalities, so many people that you have to be like, can you be here at this time? Can you be here at that time? Do you know exactly what you need to do? Like, it's really not that different when it comes down to it. But I love being able to make the art. Like, I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for the clout. I'm not in it for the reputation. Like, I'm genuinely in it for the art. Like, I want to, my life goal is to inspire other people. Like with Justin, like, I don't want him to give up. I want him to keep doing what makes him happy. Like with Shannon, like, she wanted to direct a film and she wasn't sure that she could do it. And now she's doing it, even when I model, like, I do a lot more, risque modeling. I'm covered in a lot of blood. I don't wear a lot of clothes when I'm in blood.
Okay.
And I've had so many people that were like, I wish that I could do what you do. I wish that I loved my body the way you love your body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about. Like, you can, you should, you do. You just don't know that you do yet, know?
What I'd like to do is give you a chance to call out anything that you want to draw attention to, like social media or places where you give people updates, so that we know what you got going on or things that are being released. And the floor is yours. Anything that you want to talk about or make people aware of, we'd love to help you promote it.
Mike kept saying, he's like, we're just gonna let you talk and you can do whatever you want for like this like hour or however long. And I was like, what am I gonna talk about? So obviously Anarchy premieres on April 5th. You can get the tickets on the waynesborotheater.org, or you can message me or any of the Anarchy cast or crew. We want to sell that theater out. We want everybody there. We want you to enjoy it. We are doing an after party afterwards. It's really important to me that everybody feels the celebration aspect of it. Like, we all put so much work and time and effort into this. Like, people literally bled for this film. So I want to make sure that people feel the love and the accomplishment of it.
Yeah.
There is an Anarchy movie page. There is a Key 13 movie page. Key 13 has a couple of other films coming out, like Heavy Duty Man. They're working on these things, which I am involved with too. We didn't really touch on that a whole lot, but I am involved with that. So that'll be a thing that's coming up in the future. The Sibylla 6, obviously. That has a group page right now. You can follow me or Shannon Atkins for that, for updates for that. We got a long way to go to get the filming done, but it's going to be another thing that takes forever, but it's totally worth it. 72 is in editing. Spirit Board, we are in pre-production for that still. We are always looking for extra funding to make that happen. There are a ton of other films that are in pre-production that I want to see do well, so I'm hoping to be able to help them fund some of their stuff too. Geez, what else am I doing with my life? Those have kind of been like my main focuses for right now. Anarchy definitely, Sibylla 6 definitely. I do want to mention that I have started my own production company. It's called Dancing Demons Media Group. Yeah, so I'm super excited about that. It does have its own Facebook page. We will have a website in the very near future. I have discovered that I am not nearly as technologically literate as I would like to be. So that's a little bit of a struggle. But part of Dancing Demons is that we are not only are we going to produce films and shorts and other like media outlets, like we might look into like coloring books or like film like journals or something. But as part of that, I'm also going to offer coaching, like filmmaking coaching and a mentorship, because I feel like it's really important that newcomers or people who are like losing that hope, they have the support and the resources that they really need. Especially as a female filmmaker, like I've been very lucky. I've gotten a lot of support. I haven't gotten a whole lot of backlash, but I know that there are a ton of others that have not. And I think like in generally, very generally speaking, like females really need to stick together to start with.
Yeah.
I'm not a competitive person. I want you to win too kind of person. And I'm using this as a way to do that.
That's awesome.
That's very cool.
That's
Thank you.
very cool. Yeah. And I want to thank you for coming on with us today. I mean, it's been awesome and amazing to have you. And it was really cool meeting you at that premiere, and hopefully we'll see you at the one that's coming up in April. And this is our small contribution to the indie community, just doing this, and we want you to share things with us. You know, you're welcome to post things on our Facebook page.
Share away.
Yeah, go ahead and share. We'll try to promote your event for you as best we can, because I'd love to see it sell out too. So yeah, the Waynesboro needs to have like 200 people descend upon it, you know, to fill that
Well, the
theater.
theater holds about 190, so if we sell out, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. That sounds fantastic. You know, Mike, anything else?
I hope you had a good time.
I did. I had a great time.
You're always welcome to come on and talk about whatever you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there'll be a lot more coming up.
You did mention that you and Shannon were working on another future project together.
Yes, we are working. Well, we have a lot of ideas.
Well, without even, I don't know if you want to say anything, but you said that you were looking for cast and crew. So, I mean, this is a place.
So the one that we're looking at next is called Black Sheep. It's basically about people who are trying to break into different industries that don't feel welcome and have to deal with all these kind of different like obstacles and how they overcome them. It's going to be a little darker of a film, and we're actually looking at doing a sequel as part of it. Like I came up with the original idea, she came up with the other part it's just gonna flow so nicely together. We sat down for dinner one day. We were at a Longhorn Steakhouse, and the waitress came over and she was like, it's gonna be a little while till we bring your food out. And by the time we had our food out, we had like 6 different movie ideas written in my notebook. And
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
So those are the 2 that we're going to start with, because I feel like those are the 2 that are going to mean the most. I also am working on another darker script with a very good friend of mine. His name is Jason Berg. He's out in the Pittsburgh area. I'm very excited to do that with him. I can't say a whole lot yet. We're still writing that script, but it's very dark.
Speaking of Pittsburgh, are you going to try and make it to Gross Fest?
Yes. So I do plan on being there at Gross Fest. Shannon and I are actually looking at getting a table as a vendor. So
oh, nice.
We'll see what happens. I know that we're going to make an appearance at Carolina Fear Fest in May. I don't think that we'll have a table there, but we'll be there attending and supporting everybody.
That's great.
That's
me
awesome.
and Clint are going to make it up to Gross Fest this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys been before?
No.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking to Jen Nangle, who recently put out a project she called Body Count. And she talked about like trying to go to that. And we did our interview with her, and it was cool that she got the official invite to go. And she's like, if I go, you guys got to come see me. So then I looked at the lineup, and it was like, there's all these people that I'd like to talk to. So it's like, definitely I got to go. So
there's quite a few people that I worked with that are on that lineup.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if you're going to have a table, we'll probably see you there.
Probably. I know that they're selling out of the vendor tables pretty quickly. So like, if we're going to do it, we need to get on that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I hope you get it. And I hope we catch you there.
I have our room reserved already.
already. At least
Yep.
you're prepared.
That's right.
Well, I don't know where I saw it somewhere, but people were booking up rooms, so I said, "Let me grab it now before."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. He's the planner. He's also my promoter. So anytime we do something, he just shares the shit out of it. So I mean,
Did he tell you he wasn't going to tell you that we were doing this today?
no, I knew it was happening.
I told her this whole podcast thing is bullshit. I said it's just going to be me and you talking.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got the invite last minute. He's like, well, I guess I need somebody to create the event. You know?
Oh, by the way, we're doing this. Hop on.
Yeah. I'm like,
I need you to edit it later.
I was going to have a candle. I was going to make a candlelight. I was going to. You're going to come on and be like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. So really smooth jazz playing in the background.
Barry White in the background. And
Yeah, and I came along and ruined it for you.
fucking Clint.
I feel like it was better. It's okay.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. And again, it was great to have you. So there you have it. Amanda Megan in a nutshell.
We will see you on April 5th.
Yep.
Yes,
we'll see
April 5th. Be there.
We will be there.
That's
You
right.
better.
Yeah.
We will.
All right. Well, on behalf of myself, on behalf of Evil Mike and Amanda, I say, remember.
Smile, you son of a...